But I mean, what I really feel that we have accomplished, and I think it's entre nous, Don Bren read the first report and said, "How come no one's done this for 20 years? Why is no one paying attention to these big issues?" I mean, you think even like the Register.
Donald Bren, the owner, CEO, major domo of the Irvine Company.
And the most powerful person in Orange County, by far.
Real estate developer for folks that are watching this from outside who want to know about Orange County.
I mean, the problem is, Disney, we're just a colony for Disney. We're one of their parks, even though it's the original park. They have no commitment to Orange County. They have no commitment to Anaheim.
Well, increasingly, you make a good point. Who's not a colony? Now it's Edwards Life Sciences
Right,
for one, which maybe we too bad we couldn't mention them on the main show. But they're I've had Michael Masalam on the show here. They make heart catheters.
Right, yeah, sure. But I think Mike would be the first one to say, I need colleagues. I can't be the only guy. You can't ask the same guy to do every single thing. Like this new business leadership council that Irvine's trying to put together, and he's going to be the chairman of it.
Yeah. So that's some leadership, and but again, that's not to put them down because they're a big, thriving, significant company, but not on the scale of, some of the companies that have gone before.
Right. I mean, you think about companies like AST Research. Orange County was if you look at the Orange County like growth in high tech, we have less high tech jobs now than we had in 2007.
Yeah, which was pretty. That was stunning to see that.
I mean, and that's why I go nuts. I assume none of this is recorded, but. Right.
This is being recorded. So
well, okay.
Yeah, we're recording. Yeah. So you wanna hold back on that? Okay. Tell me when we're done recording. Just one more thing while we're recording. We didn't get to it in specific terms, but I love your your contention that throughout the country there is a war on suburbia.
Right.
And you've written many papers on that, but kind of boil it down for us. What do you mean when you say there's a war on suburbia?
Well, this is coming from several sources. One from the Greens, who think by having high density, there are positive environmental effects, which we've been able to dismantle most of that. But nevertheless, they have that. You have the real estate speculators. If you're in the Bay Area and they're saying, you can only develop in 4% of the Bay Area, well, you can imagine what that does to the price of land if you own property in that 4% of the Bay Area. You also have this, this idea that, people want to live in density, they want to live in apartments. Well, every survey will tell you that the vast majority of people, including millennials, want a single family house. Now, they may want a different single family house than their parents. They may want a single family house with a hiking trail nearby or a park nearby. They probably don't play golf. They have different values, maybe different things that they're interested in. They may want to have a town center they could walk to or bike to. All those things, but they still want that. They don't want to live chock-a-block. And if you don't believe that, just take a look at where young people are moving. They're moving to places where they can afford these kinds of places, particularly when they get into their 30s.
Okay, and so what's the war on that?
The war is that, well, in the state of California, basically Brown is doing everything he can to make suburbia go away, and where there is suburbia, they want to densify it so there'd be no reason to live in suburbia. I mean, you think.
So you're saying the planning is all geared toward things like, well, a bullet train,
right,
rail, apartments.
Exactly.
And away from where you say people really want to live, which is more like suburbia, the garage,
right? Orange County,
the two cars.
I mean, what I noticed in Los Angeles over 40 years is, as the city pursued this densification, it became less and less pleasant to live there. The LA I moved to, in many ways there were some improvements, but you couldn't get around. You could, I remember it took me more time to get to Encino from Valley Village than it takes me now to get to South Coast Plaza from my house, and I live in the eastern part of the county.
Uh-huh.
So, I think what Orange County can sell is good schools, safety, suburban lifestyle. That's our, now you can make it more interesting. You can do the things that Shaheen's doing. You've got these shopping centers that are all Vietnamese and Chinese, and they're great, and they got great food, and it doesn't mean you have to be plain vanilla, but that's our niche. Our niche is that person. We are not going to be successful with the 25-year-old, sort of hipster who, is just looking for, endless stimulation.
Yeah.
That's not going. We're not going to be competitive in that market. You want, you're a 25-year-old and you're, want to be a hipster. You're probably better off even in L.A. and certainly in New York or Seattle or San Francisco.
Yeah, or Chicago maybe.
And certainly in the, in the coastal parts of Chicago.
But when you say when that 25-year-old becomes 30, gets married,
right,
it's a different proposition.
Well, and I've got all the data on that. I mean, they start looking for safety. Of course, they have kids. Then schools become a big issue, and then they start. You start having different priorities. People. One of the arguments I've had over the years, I keep saying, well, people change as they get older. Now, the millennials are maturing much less quickly than our generation did. So they may be in their adolescence to their early 30s.
Okay, very good. And on that point, I think we'll end it, Joel.
All right.
Fun as always.
Okay.
Thank you.